Now, you mentioned CMC, Dirk.
Yeah.
What about CM Punk? What if Aiyuk went to the Jaguars?
All right, right now we're in the middle of trade negotiations, trade talks with Brandon Aiyuk.
Yes.
What team actually makes sense to take someone like this?
Well, I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers make sense. I think that the Cleveland Browns make sense. To a degree. Now,
What are you going to have to give up?
probably Amari Cooper and some picks. But here's the deal. Aiyuk has been very good when he's been on the field and, targeted. So I don't know, Dirk, what do you think Brandon Aiyuk is worth?
Okay, I'm just going to say anybody that's asking for a trade and then really going out there, because there's now reports saying that Aiyuk doesn't even want to go to Cleveland. Is that someone you want to put
Does
in
anyone want to go to
in?
Cleveland?
Hey, you know what?
Sorry,
Never mind.
Cleveland people.
Never mind.
Go on.
Watson did, but hey, all right. But, okay, the thing that I'm talking about here is, is that someone you really want to trade someone like Cooper, who seems to be pretty happy in Cleveland right now, to give up? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think
Right.
wide receivers in a unique position where it's becoming way more important in the NFL, right? You talk about running backs, let's take that for example, and it's just don't spend on a running back, right? That's been kind of the theory, but wide receivers are completely different. You can go all the way into, early 30s and get a lot of utilization out of these folks.
You can.
I think that it makes sense, but, there's just too much of a market price for the caliber and maybe some of the backroom drama you're going to get out of this. I think you're going to have to give up potentially 1 to 2 first-round picks to get Aiyuk,
right,
which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And you're missing a lot of the questions here of, is Aiyuk as good with that system because of the other talent that's there? You have CMC, who pulls a lot of people away. You have a lot of play drawn around, what is Deebo Samuel doing, right?
Yeah.
And Aiyuk is really number 2 in that system. And does he translate into a number 1 overall wide receiver that's worth the risk involved?
Right. I think those are all valid points, Dirk, and it probably, puts the Browns' trade position in question, because I think you still have a solid receiver already in Cooper. But
and you
mentioned
you have
okay.
2 receivers there. All right, here's where the hate's going to come from. Where do you compare Jerry Jeudy versus Brandon Aiyuk? Compare those two and compare stats, right? And tell me, what value gained are you getting for the amount that you're going to have to give up? Also, you have someone like Elijah Moore, who's kind of already a locker room problem. Do you want another person that's going to ask for or demand another trade, and you have no guarantee of signing a long-term deal if this works out, right? What are you really looking for?
Imagine that room: Jerry Jeudy, Brandon Aiyuk, and Elijah Moore. Good times. Now, you mentioned CMC, Dirk.
Yeah.
What about CM Punk? What if Aiyuk went to the Jaguars?
Hey.
Trevor Lawrence needs a target.
Now, this makes a lot more sense, kind of like what we've talked about in weeks past.
Yeah.
Name their wide receiver core there. Can you name anybody?
Who's there? Justin Blackman. Is he still there?
Oh, stop it! Talk about a bust, man.
Jimmy Smith.
You want to talk about, historic bust.
Well, he kept on getting suspended. I feel like he could have been great, but he just disappeared. He and Josh Gordon. I don't know. I'll tell you another team that probably wishes they could trade for him.
What, the Giants?
Well, the Giants wish they could trade for everyone. No, I'm saying the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
The Bills, but again, with salary cap, trade capital, it's not happening. I don't know, Dirk. I think Pittsburgh makes some sense in this sort of scenario. I think you could honestly make, there's potential arguments for a number of different teams, but it's always a difficult position when you have someone who kind of is forcing their way out and showing some signs they could be difficult, because it often carries on to the next organization. I mean, the past isn't always a predictor for the future, but how many times have we seen a wide receiver force their way out and then they go to a new organization and then it's a problematic relationship there too?
Yeah.
So,
well, the Browns didn't learn their lesson apparently, so.
They did not. But here's to our friends Josh Gordon and Justin Blackman.